Toji Fushiguro had zero cursed energy. In a world of monsters and gods, that should have been a death sentence. And yet, he's the man who put a blade to Gojo Satoru's throat. This isn't luck. It's a system Toji built. Preparation, weaponry, and a 0.2-second gap that let a weak man kill the unkillable. And I'm going to show you how to turn your weakness into your weapon. Most people think if I had just had what they have, their talent, money, connections, then I'd win. Toji never gets that option. No cursed energy, no technique, just a body and a brain. So instead of wishing, he builds something way more dangerous. A system that turns his handicap into a hunting pattern. If you can learn that Toji mindset, your disadvantage stops being a curse and starts becoming your angle. Quick context. Toji was born into the Zenin clan, a family obsessed with cursed techniques. He's the opposite. Zero cursed energy, treated like trash. Instead of chasing their approval, he walks away and builds a new life as the Sorcerer Killer. He studies sorcerers, collects cursed tools, learns every weakness in their patterns. Today, we're breaking down 4 core parts of Toji's system, from brutal acceptance of his disadvantage to the identity he builds on top of it. Let's start with the foundation, the first shift Toji made long before he ever touched Gojo. Watch how Toji reacts to his so-called weakness. Most people would obsess over what they're missing. Toji, he does something colder. He doesn't whine. He doesn't say, if only I had cursed energy like you. He just states it and keeps moving. Most people crumble because they react to their weakness emotionally. They get stuck wishing they had more talent, more advantages, more power. Toji does something cleaner. He looks straight at the disadvantage and says, alright, that's real. Now what? That single shift kills fantasy mode. Your brain can't build a strategy around what you wish you had, only around what's actually on the table. Toji's whole journey starts here. He tells the truth, removes the drama, and frees his mind to start building. Think about the thing you complained about most. I don't have money. I'm not extroverted. I didn't go to the right school. I started late. How much energy have you spent wishing that wasn't true, instead of mapping what you do have? You might be thinking, but if I accept my disadvantage, won't I just settle? Acceptance isn't surrender. It's putting your feet on the ground so you can actually push. Toji accepting his zero cursed energy isn't him giving up. It's him saying, okay, now I know the battlefield. Here's how you can start Toji's first step. 1. Write down one real disadvantage you have. No sugarcoating. 2. List 3 things you can still control around it. Time, focus, skills, environment. 3. Circle one you could start using this week. That's you shifting from I wish to I'm building around what's real. What if that list feels depressing? What if it makes you feel small? That's normal. Your brain is used to hiding from discomfort. Give it a day. Come back to the list. Notice that the facts didn't change, but your willingness to work with them did. Without this, you stay stuck in fantasy mode. You keep saying, one day when I finally have X, then I'll start. With it, you finally stand on solid ground. And that's the only place you can actually swing from. But raw acceptance isn't enough. Just knowing you're behind doesn't make you dangerous. Toji takes the next step. He turns his lack of talent into a stack of tools. Watch what Toji brings to a fight. Everyone else walked in powered by cursed energy. Toji walks in powered by armory. He studies sorcerers so deeply that he knows exactly which tool beats which technique. Here's the real shift. He doesn't try to match anyone's raw talent. He builds layers of preparation talent alone can't compete with. All those weapons, poisons, tracking tools, they're not random. They're pieces of a system built to close a gap he knows he'll never close with power. You don't beat people at their strengths. You beat them with the tools they were too proud to pick up. Think about one area where you felt outclassed. Work, school, content, sports. Are you actually outmatched? or just underprepared. You might say, I don't have money for fancy tools or training. That's fair, but preparation isn't just gear. It's knowing the rules better than everyone else, studying patterns, building simple systems other people are too lazy to set up. Toji's deadliness comes from the thinking he does before the fight, just as much as the weapons he carries. Here's how to build your Toji toolkit. 1. Pick one lane where you feel behind. 2. Find 2 tools or resources that would make you dangerous there. A book, a course, a piece of software, a simple routine. 3. Commit to using them daily for the next 7 days. Your goal this week isn't to be the most talented, it's to be the most equipped. So you may be wondering, what if you research tools for an hour and end up overwhelmed doing nothing? That's completely normal. That's why you cap it. 1 lane, 2 tools, 7 days. Limit the options so your brain has no excuse to stall. Without doing this, you keep walking into battles barehanded and calling it fate when you lose. With it, you start showing up like Toji. Maybe not the strongest in the room, but the one who clearly came ready. But even preparation has a limit. You can stack tools, study your opponents, train for months, and still lose if you don't know how to use your advantage at the exact right moment. That's where Toji's system turns lethal, with one tiny gap no one else saw. There's one detail in Toji vs Gojo most people miss. A detail that turns his whole plan from prepared to deadly. Gojo is supposed to be untouchable. Infinity, 6 eyes, though works. But Toji studies him so hard, he finds a tiny timing gap between Gojo sensing an attack and his technique fully protecting him. Toji doesn't need 100 advantages. He needs one gap, and a system built completely around it. That's the heart of his system. Find a small, repeatable opening and design everything to hit that opening on command. Think about your life. In your job, your school, your content. Where is there a small opening that other people ignore? A time of day no one shows up, a topic no one's explaining clearly, a problem everyone complains about but no one solves. You might say, I don't see any special gap. Everything looks crowded. That's how it looks until you start watching with intent. Toji didn't randomly notice the 0.2 second window. He watched, tested, probed, failed in training until his brain finally locked onto it. Here's how to build your 0.2 second gap system. 1. Pick one arena you care about. 2. For 7 days, watch only for patterns and gaps. When people complain, when things break, when no one shows up. 3. Choose one tiny gap and design a simple move around it. Your first gap doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be yours. What if your first gap is wrong? What if it doesn't work? Good, that's data. Adjust, watch again. Most people quit when their first idea fails. Toji keeps probing until the opening is clear. Without this, you keep trying to win by matching other people head on in their strongest area. With it, you're no longer playing their game. You're running a system built around a gap they don't see. But again, even with a map weakness, stack tools, and a gap hunting system, most people still stay average. Why? Because deep down, they're still comparing themselves to the Gojo in their life and holding back. Toji's final move isn't just technical, it's identity level. Look at this silhouette. You can't tell his rank. You can't tell his technique. You just feel the intent. What truly makes Toji scary isn't how he fights when he's winning. It's how he fully commits to the role he chose. He doesn't try to be a well-rounded sorcerer. He doesn't chase every lane. He becomes the specialist, the man with no cursed energy, who kills people overflowing with it. Here's the hidden 5th habit he kills: comparing his weaknesses to other people's strengths. Once he stops trying to be like the Zenin clan, he can finally go all in on his own lane. Think about your life. How much time have you spent measuring yourself against someone else's highlight reel? Their looks, their followers, their wins. Now picture a different story. You pick one role you're willing to own. I'm the most reliable one. I'm the system builder. I'm the one who out-prepares everyone. That person doesn't need to match anyone else. They just need to become undeniable in their lane. You might be thinking, if I lock into a lane, won't I miss other opportunities? Here's the twist. Most people never get any opportunities because they never become sharp anywhere. Toji's whole value comes from being extremely good at one specific thing, hunting sorcerers. That focus is what lets him stand next to Gojo without flinching. Here's how you can start Tojifying your identity. Choose one lane you're willing to be known for. Write a simple identity line. I'm the kind of person who does X. Do one action per day that matches that identity, no matter how small. Stop saying I'm trying everything. Start saying I'm becoming dangerous in this. What if your lane feels wrong later? What if you pick badly? That's completely normal. Identity isn't prison. It's a training art. Commit for a season. Give it 90 days of focused reps. If the lane is truly off, you'll pivot with way more skill than if you stayed scattered. Without this, your weakness stays pure pain. You keep comparing, keep hesitating, keep wishing you were someone else. With it, your weakness becomes a design choice. You stop being the knockoff version of other people and become the one person who plays your role like Toji. That's Toji's real system. He didn't beat gods by copying them. He beat them by doubling down on the one thing they could never be, him. Let's bring the Toji system together. He had 0 cursed energy, but he built 4 layers that turned that weakness into a weapon. 1. Stop wishing, start mapping. He accepts his disadvantage brutally and maps reality. 2. Stack the tools, not the talent. He closes the gap with preparation, weapons, and information. 3. Exploit the 0.2 second gap. He builds a whole strategy around one tiny opening. 4. Choose your lane and overcommit. He kills comparison and becomes the sorcerer killer. Foundation, system, transformation. That's how a man with 0 cursed energy kills a god tier sorcerer. Real talk, there's been plenty of times in my life where I felt behind. Late start, less money, less support, watching other people move with advantages I just didn't have. And for a long time, I did what most people do. I stayed stuck in comparison mode. Watching Toji changed how I saw that. Not because he's a role model morally, because he's not, but because he proves that I'm behind can turn into I'm built different when you stop wishing and start building a system. If you feel like you're the one with 0 cursed energy in your world, no connections, no head start, this isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of your system. Here's your assignment for the next 24 hours. You're going to start building your Toji system. Step 1. Pick one area where you feel behind. Step 2. Write down one real disadvantage you have there. No sugarcoating. Step 3. Choose one tool or habit you'll use to start turning that weakness into leverage. Then, take one action today that matches that system. Sign up, set it up, start the reps. When you've done it, come back to this video and comment, I started my Toji system, and tell me what your weakness is and how you're weaponizing it. I'll be in the comments reading. If you want to know what kind of character you actually are, how you handle pressure, confidence, and conflict, I built something to help with that. It's called the Character Archetype Assessment. In just a few minutes, you'll see which anime archetype your mindset matches, your built-in strengths, the habits holding you back, and the best way to train in your lane. Hit the link in the description, take the assessment, then come back and drop your archetype in the comments. I want to see how many Toji types, Gojo types, and strategist types we've got in the crew. Until next time, under the glow of stars, we forge our future together. Captain Geo Bravo signing off. Peace.